Welcome everybody. It's Sylvie McCracken from sylviemccracken.com. And today I have a very special guest, one of my incredible clients from my Streamline and Scale program, where I take business owners that are already making money in their business to living with a little bit more ease and, systemizing, creating processes and outsourcing so that they can scale their business to the next level. Her name is Cindy Ferris, one of my faves, and her company is Ray of Sunshine Senior Care in Texas. Welcome, Cindy. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
I'm so excited to share Cindy's story with you guys because Cindy is, first of all, what you're going to love about Cindy is that, when she shares her wins, she's just very nonchalant and very, what's the word I'm looking for? Just modest about her wins. So every time I've asked you for a win, Cindy, you're like, I don't know. I think I had, this win. And then you share something incredible, the most incredible thing I've heard in 3 months. And you're like, I guess it's okay. And that is one of the things I absolutely love about you. So thank you so much for being here to share your story, because I think people will find it incredibly helpful and incredibly inspiring. And just to jump right in, I just want to ask you kind of when when we first met, when you first came across my Facebook ad, when the Facebook ad gods decided to show you my Facebook ad, what was your situation? What was the biggest struggle for you in your business at that time?
I was essentially working like nonstop, 7 days a week, 10, sometimes 10 plus hours a day. And I really was not getting any results. I mean, we were consistent, if that counts for anything, but putting in, 70, a few 90-hour weeks, you don't just want to be consistent. You want to be moving forward.
Yeah, for sure. And so what was, I know you're in the middle of the office, so we're like,
that's okay.
It's all good. It's real life, it is what it is. So what were you all doing in those 70 or 90 hours?
Well, we were having a lot of heartache over changes. A quick backstory, I actually bought a business that had been around for 18 years, and they also wanted the business to grow, but knew that they did not want to do it themselves. So I bought it with the intention of growing it. But we had the same staff, some of the same mindsets, and we had a lot of heartache around making changes. We were very slow to make changes. We did not like systems. We did not like accountability. We really we were a mom and pop shop, and that was the way we should stay, even though we were going to grow.
Right. There was something that wasn't quite matching up there.
No, that was why I was working 70 to 90 hours a week and staying in the same place.
Yeah, totally and completely. And, your business is not a startup either. You've been in business for, like you said, 2 decades, or at least the former owners started it, nearly 2 decades ago. And it's a reasonable size company, wouldn't you say?
Yes, definitely.
I don't know if you care to share kind of a ballpark size of the business, but it's definitely not a startup.
No, we have a substantial client load, anywhere from 40 to 50 caregivers, thousands of hours billed out a month and stuff. So it's certainly not small by any means.
Right. And also, I remember that, when we first talked that, even though you're running this fairly large company and working your patootie off, the technical term, you weren't necessarily paying yourself that, that 6-figure or multiple 6-figure salary really that you deserve. Is that right?
Correct. I was, as you pointed out for me, I was the unpaid intern.
I don't even remember saying that, but
that was me. Yep. I was the unpaid intern in my own business.
I tend to do that, guys. I tend to bring the truth. What can I say? Oh my goodness. But, and the funny thing is everybody starts their business not making $1. But at your level, when you're running this incredible company, for you to be the unpaid intern is just crazy pants. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's incredible. So, just in 8 weeks, alone, I mean, you've made such incredible progress. But if you had to choose, one strategy that you implemented that kind of made the biggest difference for you, what would that be?
It was absolutely controlling my time, tracking my time, seeing exactly where it was going and guarding it, because everybody has the same 168 hours a week.
That's the
We
truth.
bill on that 168 hours per week. I should have thought that we all had, that same 168 hours a week, but I was just, I mean, it was all like free. It just didn't count. It was just my time, really didn't make a difference. And now that I guard it, I get things done. I'm productive. I work 40, 50 hours a week. I took all
Wow.
4 days off for the 4th of July.
That's
4
incredible.
whole days.
Wow. I mean, like it's funny because for some people that might not seem like, as incredible, but knowing where you started, where you were working, I mean, it's just crazy to me because you were working, you basically reduced your work in half. I mean, I was just hoping to reduce your work by 20%. I would have been happy, but it's crazy because, you took yourself to a normal work week, like a normal human being.
Yes.
Work week.
Yes.
Which is incredible. And it's where, like not everybody is in that situation where they're working themselves to the bone, but obviously you with the size company and the amount of people that you're managing and whatnot, if you don't have some of these things in place, you'll scale your time like you did until you absolutely cannot work another hour. That is incredible. I'm so proud of you. I didn't even know that you had taken 4 full days off. Like that sounds crazy knowing you. That is amazing. Well, I am super proud of you for that. And I love that you mentioned the time thing because I feel like there's so many strategies that we touch upon in Streamline and Scale, and they're all important. I mean, I try and keep it to a minimum actually, and really bring in just the few that are going to make the biggest difference because y'all don't got time to be implementing 600 things. But really, like if there's only one thing that I want people to get, it's that concept of your time is not renewable, right? Like it's not coming back. Every single day that expired yesterday is over. And if you can get a handle on that, there's almost nothing you can't do. So
that is true. I mean, because that gets you thinking, like you said, strategically, like the CEO, acting like it, actually delegating out to others. I mean, you have to do that if you want to free up your time. It has to be done. I can't be bookkeeper, webmaster, HR, compliance. We had an audit. The only thing I had to do to get ready for it is sign a few papers.
perfect.
Everyone else took care of it for me.
Wow.
I showed up the day of and was
you mean
there.
like a boss?
Yes, actually.
Literally
Yes.
and figuratively.
I didn't stay awake all night for it,
Oh my
worrying
God.
about it.
Yeah.
It was just, it was taken care of.
Yeah.
And our numbers, we had pretty much all hundreds. The 2 areas where we had minor dings are the known problem areas in this industry. So that clearly shows that although I'm still getting a lot of the processes written down, that they're in place, they're working. So now we can, finalize those, get those on paper so it's easier to distribute out as we bring on new team members. And so we're pretty much set. We're actually getting ready to triple our service area.
That's crazy. I mean, I don't even know. Like I'm very seldom speechless, but I'm pretty damn close. That's
I'm pretty surprised in 8 weeks. And then,
yeah.
Some of the little things that I rattled off, like, we did like a 36-page handbook in a week. And I mean, those are the things we're doing now.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's incredible. And what I love about this is that it really is kind of this snowball that takes on the life of its own, right? Because once you can get traction, once you can just free up an hour even, it's used strategically, and that helps you free up the second hour and so forth and so on. And you finally break that revenue plateau, but in your case, even more importantly, kind of the back end of things, right? Paying yourself better, actually, taking some time off so that you can think strategically, as opposed to just constantly being overwhelmed and overworked and tired and not being able to do anything other than put out whatever fire is in front of you, is just incredible. But I can't believe that you've done this in 8 weeks. I can hardly wait to see what you do in a year. It's just going to be crazy, because honestly, it's just incredible. So you basically went from a 90-hour work week to what, a 40, did you say 40-hour work week?
40 to 50
40
hours.
to 50. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Much more reasonable. Half, which is crazy. And what I love about that is it's not just about freeing up 40 hours. It's about the fact that, you're really, those hours that you are there, you're so much more with it. There's no way that you can operate in 90 hours with the same kind of intensity and strategy and wherewithal that when you're only working 45 or 50, right? It's just
definitely possible. Yes, productivity is up, and then the other side of the chart there, I'm more present for family and friends and those after work activities. I still have my phone that still comes with me, but I did turn off my notifications.
Yes!
I do have it analyzed. I know my top 3 clients, and they can pretty much reach me all the time, but they're, the huge chunk of our revenue. And yeah, we had something come up the other day out at dinner. Took me 5 minutes to resolve it. And that was it. And everything continued on. It wasn't a long drawn out discussion. It just, we knew what the issue was. We knew how to respond, and it was done.
Oh
it's so much easier. And I must say, though, getting rid of a staff member for me at least was a key item. So I know that not everybody needs to make those types of moves, but in my case, I did find out that it was a very positive move. It brought the group together more so. It allowed us to make those changes and stuff. So I don't want to, just say, oh, it was all great and it was all easy and it's perfect now, because I did have to make those hard decisions.
Absolutely. And that's the thing is, like, you're in that, in that path. It's not always picking daisies and unicorns and rainbows, right? there are some, that's what you get. That's the pros and the cons of being the CEO, is you have those tough decisions to make. But what I found in you was that, first of all, once you kind of, you were clear, you were alert and awake enough to even be able to make those decisions from a place of, not a place of exhaustion, but a place of CEO strategy. And once you were able to not only look at the value of your time, but the value of every single one of your employees and contractors' time, and say, wait a second, what are we doing here? What is your job exactly? And what value are you bringing? And those are the hard decisions that you need to make as a CEO sometimes. And you went in there, and not only did you realize, I think we can actually replace you with an app, but you executed, literally and figuratively, I guess, in a way that was really, saving your company, is about not only saving your company in terms of revenue and, I guess more importantly in this case, expenses, and, really looking at that bottom line, that profit, which is so much more important. But also, like you said, a kind of one rotten apple will really, mess with the cohesiveness of that company, right?
It really was, and it was really dragging us down, and every decision was, this long drawn out process, and just had to be analyzed, and it wouldn't work because of this or this and this and this. And right, not everything's gonna work. I'm still tweaking some things. There are some things that might only be at 50%. But you know what? I was at 0% 8 weeks ago. So 50% is better than 0%.
Oh,
I'll take that all day long.
Yeah. I love that. And I love the way your mindset has grown too in just 8 weeks, just in terms of like the fact that you're even looking at those wins and really, you're not beating yourself up for the 50% that's missing. You're looking at the 50% that you've accomplished. And I have no doubt, because of how I've seen you operate, I have no doubt that you're going to continue to do that, which is going to be absolutely incredible. And I can't wait to talk to you a year from now, because I can only imagine. So in terms of, revenue, know that, I know you were kind of working much more on back end stuff than on increasing revenue, which was already quite amazing. But is there any percentages or whatever that you want to share in terms of growth of revenue or profit or anything like that?
It is actually coming up now. We have gotten like 5 clients from the new areas, and we're not even really focused on that yet. I mean, they've been one-offs, just special services and stuff, but I mean, we're already seeing the demand there. I now have one of my staff members pretty much doing all of the standard servicing for our existing clients. So that has been a huge help. They're all loving her. It's That's just perfect. A great combination, Sometimes you just have to be willing to let go and step back.
Totally. I love that. And and realize that you're not essential is something I kind of harp on a lot, right? Like, we're not essential. And if we're essential, that's a problem, because you're never going to go on vacation if you're essential.
That is so true. And that's one of the things that, we wanted to do, to be able to travel, to have that flexibility. That's why you want to own a business. So you're not working for somebody else, 24/7. Well, if you can't delegate, then that's just not going to happen. We would have just paid a lot for a job.
Yeah, no doubt. Exactly. You would have bought yourself a job, which doesn't sound like a good deal.
No, not really.
All of the risk and none of the reward. That doesn't sound like it.
I could have just stayed working if I would have, wanted that and stuff. But I just increased them today. We had monthly marketing meetings. We're now having them every other week, because I freed up time to look at that strategic stuff, to start, doing all of that, where I think maybe in the 18 months before this, I had maybe 1 marketing meeting.
Well, I sense a correlation here. Wow, that is incredible. I didn't even know that you were doing it that frequently. That's incredible. That is incredible. It's so funny because you're one of those quiet ones where I really had to be like, Cindy, do you have any questions? Cindy, do you want to share any wins? On the group calls, it was so funny. But you're over here quietly implementing and just showing up coachable and just implementing and applying. And here's the deal. Like, this is partly why I love doing group coaching so much, is that, look, I could probably write, 5 books on this, and maybe some people would read them and take action and get results, maybe. But I love being there to really be able to hold you accountable and be like, what happened last week? Okay, how are we going to fix that problem? How are we going to get to the next level? And really kind of make sure that you implement, because information is great if you implement. Some people do, some people don't, but the implementation is really where the magic happens. So with you, Cindy, I feel like there was one big, there was one big sort of opportunity cost that you had. I remember what it was. It was, at one point you had clients basically banging on your door that you had to turn away. Do you remember that moment?
Yes.
Do I have that right?
Yes.
So basically, because, everybody's business is different, right? But in your case, because you're a service-based business, if you don't have basically the right staff in place or the right systems in place or the contractors in place to be able to deliver that service, as much as you want to take on that client, you got to say no, essentially. So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, we lost 100 hours per week. I remember that one. Yes, very, very well. But, I was upset about it for a day.
Yeah.
I think I even posted that I was going to allow myself to be upset about it for a day. And then you pick up, you brush yourself off. We are now doing a new process where we're bringing on board 4 to 6 people per week.
That is incredible. It's incredible. And I felt like, you're the perfect example of like, this is really what it costs you to not have that back end streamlined, right? To not have those processes and those systems, and really an onboarding process and a hiring process that you can be like, oh crap, I need, some more people. Let me do this quickly, as opposed to let me trial and error it for 6 months. For you, it was costing you clients that you had to turn away, and I guess went to your competitors. I'm assuming, where else are they going to go? They're not going to do. you know?
Yeah, they had to go to our
That's right.
competitors. It's care. You're not
Exactly.
coming to us because it's fun. You're coming to us because you need us.
It's
So
not a pedicure that they could do
no,
without. Yeah,
no, we
absolutely.
lost that 100 hours per week.
Yeah. And so, and this, you know, and of course, here's where I come in with my very unconventional coaching style, where I'm like, I'm glad this happened because I feel like you have to, sometimes you have to learn it that hard way, where it's like, you know what, this will never happen to Cindy again. I can guarantee it, because you have that lesson hardwired into you, where it's like all of a sudden this, you know, the processes that nobody wants to work on, all of a sudden, because they're not sexy or they're not fun half of the time, it's like, it becomes like, oh crap, if I don't do this, I will continue to lose 100 hours a week or whatever of business, which is not good.
Yes, and yeah, like I said, the next morning, that was when it started. We started using an online tool, so the three of us involved in recruiting can now all share information. We can all see where everybody is while they're going through the process. It's transparent. We know what's going on. We have 2 mornings a week dedicated, set aside to bring people in, interview, get them signed up, get them moving.
Amazing.
Where
Just
it used to just be whenever someone called us, we'd do it. And so,
right, the winging it
no,
strategy.
no, yeah, just go with it. And, you
Yeah.
know, it's kind of going to work out the way it's supposed to work out until you lose 100 hours. And did I mention that's per week? It's like, that was a
Yeah.
huge sales hit right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
So,
that's incredible. That is absolutely incredible, because I know, like, you know, once you set this up, growth is inevitable. I mean, you already have kind of clients sort of coming to you, but then now you also have the time and the marketing, and you reappropriated that mishire towards, you know, a marketing person. You know,
yes.
you appropriated some of those funds to that, which is, you know, it's just like, it's a growth machine now. You've turned your business from surviving to, you know, inevitable growth, which is incredible. So I absolutely love the wins that you've had, both in revenue, both in profit, in paying yourself. The time wins are always my favorite. You know, the fact that you went from 90 hours to 40 to 50 is ridiculous. And, you know, that's absolutely incredible, and what people are very interested in. But I also want to ask you and have you share with people really kind of the personal transformation. Not only like, have you become, you know, have you transformed from the unpaid intern to the CEO, and that, you know, that process is even still in progress. But tell us a little bit more about, like, you know, a couple of those wins that you shared that were some of my favorites, in terms of stuff that you've done, kind of, you know, time that you've taken for yourself, and, you know, things like, you know, taking care of yourself better. What has been your biggest sort of personal transformation?
It's just been truly treating myself like the CEO. I think it was that you said that, you know, it's not me, an individual, going for a walk or going to the gym. It's the CEO. It's the CEO taking care of themselves and making that important. And so I deal with some ongoing health issues. They still show up some, but, you know, it's getting better. I am working through them. I'm trying, you know, different diets, different alternatives for them and stuff. It's as simple as sometimes taking the time for myself and going to the spa and getting a
Yes.
half spa day.
I love that.
I mean, okay, but you know, it's all part of it.
Totally.
It's because if I'm not sleeping at night, if I'm not eating well, if I'm not taking care of myself, then it follows me around, you know, 24/7.
Yeah.
And I've never made myself a priority. Everybody else has always been the priority, and that's a lot of us do that. So
Absolutely. It's
it's
super
not unique to me, but
at all.
it's
Yeah.
a different feeling. I mean, I still work through it. There's still times, you know, where you have the bad day, but as we all know, you can have the bad day, you can't have the bad week.
Perfect. I love it.
So I've got that down good. And, you know, that's right. You brush yourself off the next day and you get back at it.
Totally. And I've loved that. And it's so funny. I'm like the most unconventional business coach because I'm like, oh, okay, great. You have 40K more in revenue. That's excellent. But you went and got your hair done? What? Yeah. But it's the truth. Like, I feel like, you know, the fact that you're taking care of yourself, that you're seeing yourself in that seat, you're in that CEO mindset, and that you're building yourself as a CEO, that you're, you know, that you're building self-care into your business plan, essentially. I mean, IRS, don't worry, don't come knocking. I'm using this somewhat metaphorically, but you know, it really is kind of this, you know, you're taking your care of yourself. And if it takes, you know, looking at yourself as like, look, you're the CEO of your business. You would never allow, if you hired a CEO, you would never allow them to work themselves to the bone and not take a day off and come in, you know, when they're working half effectively and whatever else. And if that's what it takes, that's incredible. And I know it's not unique to you. And that's why I bring it up, because I think a lot of people watching, especially if I may gender stereotype a little bit, I think us women have an even harder time, and for whatever reason, which, you know, let's not get too far down the rabbit hole, but I feel like we have a harder time in that, you know, it's so common for us. I mean, I used to be like president of the Martyr Mom Club, you know, and taking care of everybody else before taking care of myself. And the truth is, once you realize, like, there's a reason on the plane they tell you to put your oxygen mask on first. You're not going to be able to do anything for anyone if you're not taken care of. So the fact that you've switched that is quite honestly my favorite win, because I feel like there's, you know, it's like there's almost nothing you can't do, right? If you've got that part down. That is absolutely incredible. So, you know, maybe a little bit of an obvious question, but is there any chance that you're thinking that you might go back into working into a 90-hour week and doing everything yourself?
Absolutely not. I'm already thinking about what the next hire should be, when they should come on board. I'm reverse engineering all of those numbers to meet our, you know, short and long-term goals. So I can monitor how we're growing, who we need to bring on board next, really. Yes. So no, I'm not going back into that.
That is incredible. Yeah. I mean, it's, you know, obvious. It's kind of crazy, like, to even think, but every once in a while. But so, okay. And so in addition to the fact that, you know, you've had incredible business wins, incredible, you know, the financials look different, your team looks different, people actually like working together, all of that jazz, you are taking care of yourself, your health is improving, you're sleeping well, you're feeding yourself well, all of that jazz, you're going to the spa, which is awesome. And, you know, is there any other areas of your life that this has had a domino effect on? Like, you know, your relationship with your husband, or time with your husband, or your family, or anything like that, that it's also affected?
It's definitely helped. I mean, how great is it now that, probably 3 nights out of the week, I do not even open up my computer after dinner. It's done, it's over with, it's family time. I'm not sitting there, you know, behind the computer, even though sometimes I wasn't always working, but
Yeah.
no, I was working most of the time. Okay. But it's just, I'm a better wife, a better daughter, you know, just all around more present. And so I'm bringing the techniques I'm using in the office to be focused, to be, you know, on point, and then actually leaving it as much as you can leave it behind. Like I said, our 3 main clients have my contact info. They contact me directly. But I mean, it's been once in 8 weeks. So it's really not that bad.
Yeah, no, absolutely incredible.
Really
And I love that, because it is one of those things where it's like, you don't need to, you know, you have that sort of balance of, like, you know, you if you're willing to take on those 3 clients and give them access and whatever else, cool, you can have it exactly the way you want it. It doesn't have to be one extreme or the other. It can be, you know, custom made business to you, essentially. And that's what you're in the process of doing, which is incredible. So not only have you, you know, streamlined your processes, you've gotten your time back, you've grown your business, you've got a team that is cohesive and that you love. You've had these personal transformations in your health and in your, you know, sleep and all of that jazz, and in your relationship with both with your parents and your husband, which I remember from the very first time we talked that those were so important to you. So that makes me so proud of you. You know, is there when would you recommend? Would you recommend to someone that is overworked right now, who, you know, is making decent revenues in their business, but working like a crazy person and perhaps not paying themselves how they deserve to be paid, and are just kind of stuck at that plateau and need to streamline and scale? What would you recommend to them? And when would you recommend that they take care of this and make this a priority?
I would absolutely recommend working with a coach. And I think you actually said I called you on it, but I thought that it was more of a compliment. But I told you I had looked at some coaches before you and I talked, and it just didn't work. It didn't work for me. It was all like, oh yeah, you know, that sounds great, and do that. Or you're like, no, you're actually the unpaid intern. Why is a CEO doing graphic design? I'm thinking that's not a good use of your time. So that's the type of person you want, though. You can't do the same thing and expect different results. You have to have somebody that's going to push you out of the comfort zone. I mean, you could probably hear how nervous I was when I came back, though, that it was a win because my staff took care of everything. I wanted to call, but I didn't. I mean, that was a huge step for me, but I needed to be pushed that. And I heard you in the back of my mind, even though you weren't there, telling me, don't call. If it's important, they will let you know, but otherwise, let it work the way it's supposed to work and trust that the process is there. And sure enough, it was. And it worked just like it was supposed to.
That is incredible. And I appreciate you so much for saying that. And I take that compliment, just very, very graciously, because it's true. Like, I really don't like fluff. I don't feel like there's just any point. Ain't nobody got time for fluff. And I do like to bring the truth and call things like it is. And it's not always comfortable, because it's not always like, oh, you're doing amazing. It's like some days I'm like, no. But you know what? I have to turn that right back on you, because I have to say that I can only do that with people like you that are coachable, that will be open-minded to really saying, like, if I keep doing it my way, I've been doing it my way for a while and it hasn't been working. So I need to admit that there might be a better way, and you're coachable, you're resourceful, and committed really to your outcome. And you're kind of non-apologetic about, no, we're going to get these results. It might be hard and I might have those bad days, but I won't have bad weeks. So I appreciate you so much, Cindy, and for showing up and really doing the work and really being resourceful, committed, and coachable, because you really exemplify all of those things. So I appreciate you so much, and I cannot wait to see what you do beyond 8 weeks, because this is crazy. Really, this is crazy, and well beyond kind of like well beyond what I would consider, okay, those are great results. I feel like you are, an outstanding example of someone that really, you had a lot to improve. Of course, you had, 90-hour weeks are pretty extreme. So there was a lot of room for improvement there, but quite frankly, I would have been happy if we would have gotten to 70 hours in 8 weeks. You know what I mean? So anyway, congratulations on all of your wins. I know that there are so many more in store for you, and I cannot wait to see that progress.
Well, thank you. And yes, I do look forward to working together again.
Absolutely, girl. You know what? Like, you are like the ideal client for our year-long mastermind. So I cannot wait to be a part of that success, because I feel like, there's always improvements, and just all of your wins are fueling your next win. So I absolutely love that. So anyway, thank you so much, Cindy, for taking your time to share with everybody today. And for anybody that is interested in our Streamline and Scale program, I will put a link below this video so that you can check us out and have a conversation if you think this is right for you. We would love to help you streamline your business. Until next time, thank you so much for joining us.